This isn't Diablo.
Yeah, I know, it's a better game. So hey, Breath of the Wild is really good.
Yeah, so I understand.
So we're gonna do something less fun and hunt a pink Rathian today.
I see you were still dressed like Mercer.
Yeah, but the fortunate thing is that this makes us completely immune to poison, which I don't think we got to see a whole lot of in the Crimson Kurapeko video, but we are going to make good use of it today.
Looks like we're in the jungle.
Yeah, this is Misty Peaks. This is the one this is the hunting ground that got introduced to us in high rank. It was also originally in Monster Hunter Portable Third. It's sort of like the main hunting ground for that game. So Pete Rathian is not far from where I'm at, so I didn't speed up the run to him, or her rather. So let's just mosey right on here. Surely they will be waiting for us. And oh, come on, why would you do
Bye.
this, Pete Rathian?
So I'm just waiting for Devil Joe to show up at this point.
I believe this is a stable hunting ground, so Devil Joe will not show up.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And you'll be able to see it in like the 1 second whenever I show the quest page before I accept it. If there's a question mark next to the monster icon we're fighting, that means it's an unstable environment and other monsters can show up.
Okay.
Alright, so Pink Rathian is a lot like normal Rathian, except it's more aggressive and pink.
The regular Rathian was pretty aggressive, as I recall.
Yeah, Rathian and Rathlo is pretty aggressive, and their subspecies only get worse. The main thing about Pink Rathian is a lot more of her attacks can poison you, and she uses them more frequently.
So it's a good thing we're immune now.
Yeah, since we have total immunity to poison damage, it's not a big deal.
However, we don't have immunity to these little assholes.
Yeah, the problem is Pink Rathian still takes really good damage from lightning. The problem is that we have not upgraded our Ladiatrus axe.
Lagiacrus?
Or Lagiacrus. Look, it's been a while, okay? I'm rusty. Rusty at commentary. But the main thing is, like, we need a Lagiacrus plate to upgrade this axe. And if you remember the stream I did where I was trying to get Lagiacrus armor, I had to hunt that thing like 7 times before I got 1. And I needed 2, so I had to hunt it like another 50 times.
Jesus.
Yeah, so like
The Desire Sensor's kind of fucking with you.
that sort of like launching tail flip she did there, it would poison me. That normal tail flip there would poison me. I want to say that the normal tail whip can poison you.
Is it just easier to count the attacks that don't poison you?
It can do sort of like a lunge from the air that will poison you. But it mainly does those tail flips. And in G rank it just does them all the fucking time. But anyway, the main thing I wanted to mention about this set, instead of the poison resistance, is we now have a skill called Razor Sharp. And I think I mentioned this a little bit in the Crimson Kurapeko video.
Yeah, I mentioned something about it.
Okay, so Razor Sharp means our sharpness drops half as quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So it's basically like having double sharpness. So the green sharpness on this axe is going to take forever to drop. But what's important is I found a hammer that we can make pretty much right after this fight, depending on what we get. And if we make it, it has a tiny sliver of blue sharpness. So our long-standing national nightmare is finally about to be over.
Nice.
It also means we're gonna see a lot of the hammer for a while.
Hopefully that comes
Because,
with a
like,
slight increase in power as well.
oh yeah, I feel I'm pretty proficient with hammer. So the main thing is like the switch axe and the hunting horn require stuff from either 7 or 8 star quests to get up into that sort of high rank push. On the bright side, in 7 star we're going to get to see the coolest boss in the game.
An actual boss and not just a monster?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still a monster, but like it's treated with the same sort of pomp that Cedeus was treated with.
Ah.
The build up
So
to
yeah,
it is a
an
lot
actual
shorter.
boss.
Yeah, the build up to it is a lot shorter, but when we get there, you'll know. But
Bye.
anyway, yeah, Paint Rathian, like I said, pretty similar to normal Rathian. So we're not going to spend too much longer fighting it, normally. Breakable parts are the same, just wings, head, and tail. That doesn't change across any species of Rathian, as far as I know. In 4 Ultimate, they added the ability to break the spines on its back. But can't do that here, because we can't jump on it. Yeah, since we haven't upgraded the axe, it's going to take a long time to cut this tail off. Fortunately, I don't think we bounce on any part of Pink Rathian with green sharpness.
That's handy.
The subspecies of Rathalos, I think, requires blue sharpness in some areas. It takes good damage from lightning, but I think water will also do decent damage to it.
It's a good thing you're using the Legiacrus weapon.
Yeah. The hammer we're going to pick up is actually a fire hammer.
Hope that's not going to fuck us too bad.
Well, the unfortunate thing is it's kind of going to. There's two fights after we get it that'll be fine, and then it will become kind of an issue for a little bit.
Lots of volcano monsters.
Yeah. Like we're gonna have to fight a subspecies of Baroth, which I didn't mention it in the Baroth video, and I'll go over it in more detail when we fight Jade Baroth. But Baroth actually has mixed resistances.
Oh no.
In that, you know how it coats itself in mud, and you can break the mud off, and then you can break the
Right.
parts underneath it. It has different resistances when it has mud on it and when it has no mud on it. And it's something you can sort of glean by looking at the at the monster manual. When you look at the guide, it says it cools itself off by putting mud on it. And this is more of a Roth than a Rathian thing, but like, so basically, what this is subtly trying to tell you is that its resistance to fire is lesser when it has mud on it, or when it doesn't have mud on it. So
Makes sense.
So whenever it doesn't have mud on it, using a fire weapon will do more damage, but obviously you can't switch weapons in the middle of the
Seems like the sort of thing they should eventually add to the series. Carry 1 or 2 weapons and just swap between them.
Well, the important thing to note is in between the last video and now, Monster Hunter Double Cross came out in Japan. And they didn't add weapon switching during fights, but they did add an important thing that a lot of people really wanted, and that is the ability to change the appearance of your armor.
That's handy.
So
Like
now you can have the best of both worlds, in that you can have a G-rank clown suit that looks like a really good set of armor that you like to look at.
Nothing like a good glamour system. Fashion hunter.
I don't know what it takes to transmogrify armor in that game, but I'm glad that they added the ability to do that.
As I understand it, Double Cross is kind of grindy anyway, so probably it's going to cost you an arm and a leg.
Well, it would make sense because Generations was kind of grindy, especially by comparison to, say, 4 Ultimate.
Grind for its own sake is not really a good addition to a game.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily consider it grind for its own sake. That would be more like Monster Hunter Frontier. Um,
Yeah. Was that the
basically,
Korean MMO version?
yeah. Basically, though, Generations and I would assume by extension Double Cross added more upgrading stuff. Like you can upgrade your armor in different ways now, and you can upgrade your weapons in different ways. Like instead of just having like instead of just having individual upgrades that change the weapon fundamentally, you have like you can level weapons up to like level I think 10 is the maximum for most weapons, and that's what opens up different upgrade paths. So that adds a little bit more grind into it, but it does give you smaller, more incremental upgrades to keep you tided over. So
Why am I getting flashbacks to Dawn of Sorrow?
well, a weapon that a weapon that you can actually use for longer because of the upgrade system. So that in that way it's good, but it does add, like I said, a little bit more grind. Which I wouldn't necessarily consider a bad thing. It lets you hunt monsters more, and it serves really well to keep you moving up instead of having to sort of stick in one area for a little while. Alright, so I don't know about you, but Pink Rathian is kind of starting to get on my nerves.
A little bit.
So I'm going to fight it for about another minute, maybe. Just gonna stick around in this cave for a little while. This cave is actually a really good place to fight it because of those pillars, but also because like in most open areas, it can just sort of and this is the thing that most monsters started doing in high rank, is it can just sort of take off wherever. In this area, it definitely has to run to a specific spot before it can take off and go to a different area. So you know for a fact it's about to leave.
That's handy at least.
Yeah, that sort of makes it flying monsters kind of a problem in high rank in open areas, is because they usually have to limp before they start, before they become, before that you realize they're capturable. When they just take off, you may not realize that they're ready to be captured, which can lead to mishaps. The fortunate thing is there are other tells for when Rathian, Rathalos, other flying monsters are ready to be captured.
What are they?
For Rathian and Rathalos specifically, their wings will droop. See how Rathian's wings are sort of angled up right now?
Yeah.
Whenever they turn or basically stand still, their wings will droop down. But yep, time to get out of here. Tired of this.
Damn, how long did you chop on its tail?
It took a while. Like you can see the plot there. It was at the nearly at the 30-minute mark.
Jesus.
Yeah, this axe is out of date. We need a new one. But we're about to get a cool hammer, so it'll all work out. Hey, remember when we did this back in January?
Was it January? Jesus.
Pretty sure it was January. Or no, it may have been February, because we did Purple Droth in January. But God, it's been a long time.
It's been almost 2 months.
My
yeah,
bad.
that Breath of the Wild happened.
Hey, C Euro, thank you for keeping my thread out of the archives. Because I thought to myself, like, oh shit, I gotta post in my thread, otherwise it's going to the archives.
Alright, let's see the numbers.
Well, first things first, let's get that Inferno sack, which is what we need to make the hammer. You get 2 of them, actually, so that works out.
19, 18 point. .292.
292.
What's that, centimeters?
Yeah.
62 feet, almost 63 feet. It's like 11
Anyway.
and 15/64 of an inch.
Anyway, that was a slodge.
Just a bit, yeah.
Next one will be more interesting, I promise.